What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. What's good, everybody? I know it is Wednesday. It is hump day. Hope that the middle of your week is going pretty well for you. Um, with all that being said, I just thought it was imperative that I would share a word with all of you today about rejection, because rejection is something, believe it or not, that a lot of us as adults are still struggling with. Rejection is just not something that we've all experienced when we were younger, and you had to deal with peer pressure. You had to deal with, being accepted. You wanted people to accept you. You wanted people to approve of you. And believe it or not, we still have grown adults, grown men and grown women to this day that still seek to be validated. What's up, Gabriel Vernon? How y'all doing? It's glad to see you. Let me see. Think I have a troller in here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this individual. Let me see. Poof, be gone, just like that. Okay, so on that note, I thought it was imperative. Oh yeah, what's up, Gabriel? I appreciate it. Thank you so much for always looking out for me. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you for the $2 donation. I am highly, highly grateful. I thought it was imperative, y'all, that I did this content for y'all because as long as you live on this earth, you're going to find out that life comes with a lot of rejections. You're bound to get rejected. And unfortunately, due to social media has actually made it worse because now people are seeking approval on a daily basis. You have people that go all out their way, just to get attention on social media, just to get it, anything to get likes, anything to get, any type of popularity or notoriety. And even with these platforms, even with these YouTube platforms, and you have these content creators, it's so many people that are willing to stand outside of their purpose just so they can get the type of attention that they want. Let me see. Yeah, another one. Just, unfortunately, like I said, people are constantly seeking approval. They are constantly seeking validation. And the last thing you want to do is basically, follow any type of trends of the world, because following today's trends will get you messed up. When you try so hard to do what everybody else is doing, and that's how you lose yourself. Because even being a YouTube content creator, sometimes it's discouraging when you don't get a lot of views, when you don't get a lot of subscribers, because maybe your content is not always negative, your content is not always full of drama. I know, right? The trollers are on full alert today. I'm serious. I guess these trollers must be federal workers. They must be getting no check or something, because they got too much time on their hands. Then again, trollers, they could be my husband ex-wife too, because she don't like me, so never know. But nevertheless, I just definitely want to do this content because it's a lot of people that are struggling with rejection. People want to be approved, people want to be validated, and people, we're constantly seeking for people to approve of us. And believe it or not, there's so many ways to become addicted to something other than getting addicted on drugs, addicted, having sex addiction, alcohol addiction. There's so many type of addictions, but there's one addiction called approval. A lot of people don't think approval is an addiction. And I can honestly tell you that approval is an addiction. When you look for people to constantly applaud you, and the moment you're not getting the type of props or recognition you think you should deserve, you automatically start feeling down on yourself. What's up, Brandon? Good to see you. You start feeling down on yourself because you're not getting approval or the validation that you're seeking for. And it's a lot of grown men and grown women that are doing this. So it's all, like I stated, it's several different type of situations where you're going to deal with rejection. You may be dealing with rejection on these jobs. You might have been on the same job for maybe 5, 10 years or more, and no matter how dedicated you are as an employee, no matter how dedicated you are, as a worker, the jobs you on, they will not promote you. They will not put you in a better position. They keep hiring people who don't know half as much as you know. They keep hiring other people to do something that they could be paying you to do, and it's like all this dedication. I've been here all of these years, and yet people still would not. What's up, poetic? People will not, they're not promoting me. They won't give me a raise. Why they keep hiring new managers when I've been just a regular employee. I've been here long enough to be a manager and a director, but they keep hiring other people and allowing them to do it. Sometimes you have to understand rejection is redirection. If things do not work out in your favor, it may mean that it may be time for you to shift gears. Okay, so if you've been on the same job for every bit of 6, 7, 8, 9 years plus, and you see they would not let you grow, they would not advance you, they would not promote you, they keep hiring other people to do the jobs that only you're good at doing, that may mean it's time for you to look for something else. Because sometimes we look to be blessed in places where we have been the most dedicated. But how many of y'all know out there know? Do you realize that God can bless you with a totally different opportunity? Sometimes God is not going to bless you where you have been a blessing. Sometimes God has to bless you somewhere else, if that makes any sense to anybody in this chat room. Sometimes we think if I just hang in there, God is going to bless me. If I just hang on to this job another 2, 3 years, even though I done been here almost 10, 11 years, and they still won't promote me, they still won't give me a raise. If I just keep hanging in there, sometimes God will not allow you to grow in a certain environment because he knows that environment is contaminated. It's a saying that good seed cannot grow in dirty soil. And that is the truth. Some of y'all have been hanging in there with deadbeat situations, whether if it's a deadbeat job, a deadbeat friendship, a deadbeat relationship, marriage. Some of y'all been trying to give life to dead situations. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. It's too many of us trying to give life to dead situations. You keep trying to resuscitate it. You keep trying to give it CPR. Some of y'all are still giving life to dead ass situations that you should have let go of long time ago. Okay. And a lot of us, the reason why you may find yourself frustrated and you may find yourself miserable is because a lot of times when you become complacent, it is hard to start over. And I would not kid you. Starting over is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you done got used to a system. Exactly, poetic. I said you cannot. You say you can't advance. Exactly. And that the thing about it is, you have to realize every opportunity ain't meant to be taken. Just because you've been on the job for 10, 11, 12 years and they got a new position coming up that's going to pay more, going to give you more, going to be more benefits, in your mind you're upset because they don't hire somebody else. They don't feel like you're qualified. They don't feel like you have all the skills and abilities, even though you've been a dedicated worker. Sometimes I'm telling you, God has a way of protecting you in the strangest ways, because some certain opportunities don't need to be taken. I know people who are in high positions, making way more money, getting way more benefits, got way more authority, and do you not realize they're way more miserable? What's up, Frito? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by to check on me. Do you realize some positions, too much is given, much is required? Be careful running behind these big time jobs with these big time titles and with this big time money, because it's going to be more stress. Do you not realize that a lot of jobs that have high positions, do you realize the reason why they pay you so much? The reason they pay you so much is not because you're so great and wonderful at what you do. The reason why these jobs pay a lot for high positions, because you know what? High positions come with the most headaches. So basically, they paying you to put up with the extra bullshit. You know what I mean? Well, at the end of the day, other employees, once they've done their work for the day, they can clock out and go home. But when you're in a high position, People in a high position, they never sleep. Whether you're supervisor, director, CEO, and I'm not telling anybody this to discourage them from wanting to be promoted, from wanting them to have bigger and better, but just realize too much is given, much is required. So if you go knocking on the door and God won't open it for you, that he may be protecting you from taking on more than you can handle. So you have to realize that, every opportunity, just because it sounds good, that don't mean it's for you. That don't mean you need to take it. So you may apply for something. You've been with a career for a while. You've been on the same job for a while. You apply and they keep overlooking your application. Or let's say you're not working. You're trying to find a job, and no matter how many applications you put in, people are constantly rejecting you. Or you've been on your same job for a long time and you're trying to leave that job and go somewhere else, but you still keep getting rejected. Sometimes as human beings, a lot of us, we can become very complacent. We can become very complacent, meaning that when we are used to things going great for us for a while, as soon as the enemy starts to turn the heat up just a little bit and start to shake things up, all of a sudden we start panicking. We start panicking. We start losing their minds. They get our position as and I have that exactly. But the thing about it, poetic, sometimes rejection is good. And I know that that doesn't make sense to y'all when I say rejection is good. How the hell is rejection good? Let me tell you something. Some things is more than what the hell you bargain for. Some things, too much is given, much is required. The bigger the title, the bigger the stress, the bigger the responsibilities. So sometimes while people think they are hurting you because they won't promote you, they won't give you the job, that's God's way of saying, no, I don't want this for you because I know it's too much. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you get in certain positions, do you realize how much stress it takes out of you? Because not only you got to watch yourself and you got to do a good job, you are going to be held accountable for every employee that works up under you and does a sloppy ass job. The moment they mess up, guess who's going to get called out? You are, because you're the supervisor, you're the manager or whatever. So be careful grabbing and going after these big titles, because every opportunity, just because it sounds good, that don't mean it's going to be good for you. So like I said, that's just one way of being rejected with these jobs. It may be a certain type of job you want, and you may have your heart set on a certain type of career. Like for the longest, I definitely wanted to do law enforcement. I had been to the police academy at least 2 times. I have applied to several police departments, and even though I was qualified, when it boiled down to it, when it was time for me to do the training, I struggled, in a lot of areas. And I just could not understand for the life of me. I'm like, God, why am I having such a hard time? Why am I not able to grasp and catch on like everybody else is? So, I'm just getting so frustrated, and I had to come to realization, and some of y'all may not understand it, but sometimes your desires do not always align with God's plans. Just because you got your heart set on what you want to be, what you want to do, who's to say that's in God's will for you to do? Who's to say God has anointed you to be able to do the position that you got a desire to do? So my thing is, you have to know when there's a difference between what you desire and what God has called you to do. Because a desire and a calling is not the same thing. Don't let nobody out here tell you different. The difference between having a desire and being called to do something, this is the difference. When you are called to do something, that means God has already anointed you, meaning he's already given you the gift, the abilities, and everything you need to be able to do whatever it is he has in store for you to do. In other words, you ain't got the stress to do it. You ain't got to stretch your brain to do it. It just comes natural to you, because guess what? That may be God's calling. But your desire, you may desire to own your own business. You may desire to, like I tried to do, become a police officer. But if you keep knocking and knocking on that door and it's not opening, that's because your desire is not in alignment with what God has in store for you. What's up, Rep? How are you? Um, and exactly. But this is the thing too about starting your own business. Everybody does not have the tenacity to start their own business. Just because you see everybody else around you starting their own business and you seeing other people growing, you have to have the mindset to start a business because my husband has his own roofing company and I see all of the things that he has to go through, the drama he has to deal with employees, not showing up, employees calling in sick, and it's times like when you own your own business, you need your downtime like anybody else. You want to go and relax, you want to catch up on some sleep, you want to go on vacation with your wife, your companion, and stuff like that. And if somebody quits on you, or somebody messes up and you got to fire, you have to have that boss mentality where you are willing to let go of your own leisure time to tend to your business. And unfortunate, Rep, a lot of people don't have the mindset of being business owners. You know what I mean? They want the money, but they don't have the drive. They don't have the professionalism to be able to handle their own business. Because one thing about owning your own business, you got to be on point at all times. Because let me tell you something, things could go from 0 to 1,000. I've seen my husband go through it for years. My husband has had his own roofing company for every bit of 17, 18 years. And when I say I have seen my husband lose money, I've seen him get big money, I've seen him lose money, I've seen employees, try him, because my husband's an easygoing, he's not a pushover, but he's an easygoing guy. And some of these employees, y'all, they will take your kindness for weakness. You know what I mean? And especially when you hire family. And I tell anybody, if you start your own business, do not hire family unless you know for a fact they on point. You know what I mean? And everything does fall on you. So you got to have the boss mindset. Everybody wants to be a boss, but everybody don't have a boss mindset. And some people are unprofessional as hell. You don't know how to talk to somebody. If you're the kind of person you don't have good communication skills, you don't need to be a boss. You talking to people like they children. Oh, well, I told you you need to do this, so you need to do that. My last job was like that. The last place I worked at, this chick, she had no filter for how she would talk to her employees. And see, stuff like that nowadays will get you killed. You can't go talking to people all kind of way just because you have a title. You know what I mean? And you piss off the wrong person because you got people that's under a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? People don't always look like what they're going through. It's people who could come to your job, people could be in your presence, and you don't know they're on the edge of suicide. You don't know if they're on the edge of depression. And sometimes, when you vent and you go off on people that work underneath you, you go off on them in the wrong way, you catch them at a wrong day and the wrong time, they may blow up on you and retaliate on you. So you have to be very careful. It's like how you get that position. Exactly, poetic. You have a lot of bosses. They abuse their authority constantly. They constantly abuse their authority. And the thing about it is, bad bosses could create bad employees, because what a lot of these bosses don't understand is you set the tone for your department. You set the tone for your company. If you're an ass, or you want to operate your department like you operate like you over inmates in a correctional facility, you are hardcore and you strictly by the books, and you have like no type of compassion or empathy with your position, you are going to create a bad set, a bad mindset basically for those who work underneath you. You have a bad attitude, you have a negative attitude, that you set the tone for your employees. Because honestly, I remember one day my husband called me, because like I said, he has his own roofing business. And I remember one day he called me because my husband was really, really stressed. He was having a moment with the guys on his job, just just acting up. Because my husband, he hires a lot of guys who don't have good records, unfortunately, because roofing is like contracting work for people who are familiar with that. So anytime it comes to roofing, contracting, that type of labor, it's easy for guys who got records and stuff to get that type of work and stuff like that. So anyway, I remember, he hires young guys and stuff like that also. So he called me one day really upset. The guys were just like being lazy. They were just having a lazy ass day. I think it was a Monday, Tuesday. I guess all weekend long, they done had too much Hennessy, had too much weed, had too much back page. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, that Monday, they was slow dragging, pussyfooting, and my husband was getting really frustrated. So he called me, and he was venting to me, man, I'm about to lose it on these guys, man. I'm so frustrated. I left to go get some more shingles, and I came back. They sitting around on the ground, and they sit in the truck. They're not on top of the roof, and I can tell in his voice he was just highly, highly frustrated, and he was over it. And I had to I had to talk to my husband. I had to calm him down. I said, Charles, let me tell you something. You are the boss of your company. Do you not realize that you set the tone for how your employees are acting towards you? I said, I can tell in your voice. You aggravated, you frustrated. So 9 times out of 10, you've been fussing at them, you've been grilling them, you've been talking to them pretty mean and rough. I said, let me tell you something. You as a boss or owner, you set the tone. If you nasty and you overly authoritative, that's the same type of response you're going to get back. If you are kind and you're humble and you know how to talk to your employees with self-respect, then they'll do the same thing with you. I said, right now, you're upset, you frustrated. The best thing for you to do at this point, you need to shut it down and tell everybody to go home. And you start this over the next day because it's not working. You got a bad attitude. Your employees got an attitude. And meanwhile, like I told my husband, your business is your brand. So your employees acting negative towards your negative attitude, that reflects on your company. When your customers, these houses that you're doing roofs and stuff on, these people seeing you fussing at your employees and your employees talking back and you disrespecting you, it makes your company look bad. It makes your brand look bad. So it's very important for those who want to be the boss, or who, if you are a boss, you set the tone for how your employees act. You set the tone for that. If you're an ass, or you're just a straight beast, you abuse your authority. You figure you can talk to people all kind of way because you need this job, you need this money. Guarantee you one of these days you're going to catch somebody on the wrong day at the wrong time, and they're going to blow up on you. This is the reason why you ever heard the saying going postal. We all have had to we all heard the cliche, she went postal, she went postal. That came from a situation years ago where a guy was fired and talked bad to by his boss or director that worked at the U.S. Postal Service, and that director fired that man, and that man had to go home and deal with the reality of knowing he was not going to have his job no more. So guess what? He came back and he went to shooting up everybody. It's even the director who fired him. That's where they got that saying, she go postal, she went postal. Yeah, when somebody go postal, they shoot up everything. So that's why, even as a boss, you got to be careful. Don't let your title get to your head to where you feel like you can handle people all kind of way, because you're going to piss somebody off. And guess what? People crazy. Don't you know all they got to do is Google your address and find out where your house is, and put it in a map phone, and wait till you get off your job and follow you. You got to be careful, man. Don't be, ladies and gentlemen, if you got high positions, do not treat people all kind of way. I don't care if you are a chief. That don't mean spit on your Indians, because believe it or not, your Indians is what's helping your company to grow. You can't do all of what you do by yourself. Even with your big title, you cannot do it all by yourself. What's up, Brandon James? Good to see you. good to go solo. What's good? That's why workers have low moral at most jobs. It's a volatile situation to say the least. Oh, absolutely. Yes, and exactly, Kels, you can't just test anybody. You have to be very careful with your title, with your authority, because you got some people out there, they don't give a piss what you are, what you represent. If you try to make their life a living hell, they will make your life a living hell first. So we have to be careful that we don't abuse our authority. Like I stated, there's going to be jobs where they may not promote you. They may, and you know that you've been dedicated, and you feel like in your mind and your heart you deserve it. Do not be mad if they don't promote you, because again, that may be God's way of protecting you, because He knows if you were to get that position, if you already under stress, if you are already under stress to a certain degree at that job, why the hell would you want a higher position in that job? You already see it's messy. You already see it's chaotic. You already see there's too much politics on these jobs. Why would you want them to promote you on these jobs where you see it's nothing but chaos and drama? If anything, you should be putting in applications and trying to move up out of that toxic ass volatile environment, so you can work somewhere peacefully, and no job is perfect, but you can work somewhere where at least there's respect and more professionalism. Rita says, my coworkers just don't know how blessed they are. I smoke a blunt before work, so I won't have to whip them. And I know you are not the only one, Frito. So again, because I know today's content is rejection, is redirection. Embrace rejection. Be glad if that boss wouldn't give you that promotion. Because guess what? You don't have to deal with the stress. You don't have to deal with the headaches. You know what I mean? So the rejection is a good thing at sometimes, because it takes you away from having to deal with the extra burdens and extra responsibilities. So embrace rejection. Now, I stated rejection as far as job and career wise. Other rejection in relationships. Okay, you may have been in a relationship to where no matter how much time and energy and feelings you put into that particular person, they did not give you back all of what you put into them. That is another type of rejection. When you don't put yourself all out there, you don't invested all your time and your love into this man, into this woman. You put all your years into them. You thought you were going to build with them. You thought y'all was going to progress. You thought y'all was going to move to a better level, that y'all relationship was growing. So only find out this person had been using you, lying to you, betraying you, cheating on you, whatever the case is. You may be feeling defeated, like, damn, I done put all my time and energy into this man and energy into this woman, and it's unfortunate that our relationship is not growing, or is, if it's not that, you could be a woman, been in a relationship with a man for a long time, but he will not marry. You've been dedicated to him. You probably even had his children. You done invested a lot of your time and energy, and this man was still not married. And same thing with you guys. You don't put a lot into a woman. You done took care of her when she was at her worst, and you done looked out for her, and you done been there for her. And yet this woman is still not giving you the same gratitude that you're giving her. Realize when you're in situations like that, when you're being rejected from your mate is not giving you the time, the attention that you deserve or you're requesting from them. Just keep in mind that may be God's way of showing you signals that it may be time for you to move on. There's no need to keep depositing something into someone and they're not giving, and they just keep withdrawing. It's like a bank account. If you keep withdrawing out your bank account and you're not depositing, guess what? Your account is going to come up empty. It's as simple as that. And that's the same case with all of you grown men and you grown women. Y'all been in the same dead, toxic relationship or marriage for years. You see there's no growth. You see there's no progress. Now keep in mind, I'm not saying your relationship or your marriage is supposed to be perfect, because that is definitely not true. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. But if you're with a man or a woman and you see all they want to do is use you, All they want to do is take advantage of you. They got this attitude where, what can you do for me? Never, what can I do for you? You know, you done helped them to get to where they are, and now they smelling themselves. They done forgot that you was down with them when they ain't had a pot to piss in or winter thought out of. And now that they are progress, and now that they're doing well, you know, all of a suddenly, you know what I mean? Now they looking at you like you wasn't the one that was there and stood by them when they was down at their lowest. You know what I mean? So again, when you experience rejection, rejection just means it's time to redirect. It's time to make new plans. Don't get mad if a job don't work out. Don't get upset if a relationship or a marriage doesn't work out. It just simply means it is time to redirect. You have to come up with a new plan, a new strategy, because guess what? This right here ain't working. There's no progress. There's no growth. It is time to move forward. Okay. Not only is there rejection with jobs and relationships, you may have rejection in friendship. I've mentioned to all of y'all before, some of you may not remember, I had to let go of a 23, 24-year-old friendship. I've been friends with this chick forever. You know, and I'm the kind of person, when I'm loyal, I'm loyal. I'm a friend to the end. So I look for loyalty 100% back. I don't know. Maybe it's a Scorpio thing. I'm a Scorpio, y'all. So Scorpios, we are very, very passionate when it comes to being loyal. And I was very loyal to her. But when it boiled down to it, when her luck wasn't going good or when things wasn't going right in her life, she really couldn't celebrate my success or my accomplishments. So unfortunately, I had to jump ship from that friendship, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be friends with somebody who could only tolerate me but not celebrate me. There's a difference. It's a difference when somebody is celebrating you and tolerating you. And you, as a grown man and as a grown woman, you have to have spiritual discernment and know the difference. You know what I mean? Because everybody that throws around the title friend, it does not mean they're a friend. And I just seen too many signs of shadiness. I've seen too many I've seen too many bad sides more than good when it came to our friendship. You know, as long as we both was in a struggle, as long as we both was going through, it seemed like the friendship was okay. We were doing, as long as we both was in a struggle together. But the moment she felt like I was progressing, the moment she felt like I was getting ahead, or she felt like something was going good for me, I felt a little haterism. Even though she would try to camouflage it, and she would try to act like she was happy and act like she was happy for me and act like she was rooting for me. I felt that vibe. And when you are a person who has a lot of strong spiritual discernment, you cannot be fooled. You cannot be manipulated. No matter how much somebody laughs and smiles in your face, you know what you're really dealing with. And I knew, you know, it was just time for me to exit the friendship. You know, whenever you're in a situation that is just totally making you miserable, and this goes for men and women, I don't care what situation that is, whether if that's a job situation, a relationship situation, a friendship. If you find yourself just dreading being in the presence of that, it is time for you to move forward. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, it's been real. I just want to share this little quick content with y'all about rejection is redirection. Keep in mind, I'm going to be doing a mini series very soon about Black love. It's going to be a 3-part series about those who have given up on Black love and think Black love is not possible, that think Black love cannot be cannot exist, and it doesn't exist. I'm going to be sharing with y'all a 3-part series on that, so definitely stay tuned, y'all. So on that note, because I keep getting calls, so anyway, I'm gonna holler at y'all soon, and make sure you hit that notification bell, and I'll be chatting with y'all very soon, and I'll be chopping. Thank you for coming in. It's your girl Mocha. Appreciate you.